Hey yo, salute to the people. It's the social forecast. It is now Friday morning, August 16th. It's almost 2 a.m. I was just scrolling through my timeline. Came across a video that a woman put up. And she was talking about, it was a very brief video. It was probably like 30, 40 seconds. She was talking about men in her DMs basically being, as she put it, disrespectful in the way that they were, I guess, approaching her. And kind of what I want to talk to y'all about. I understand the women who say they're different and they respond differently to certain ways that men approach them or show interest in them, and certain vulgar ways that men express themselves to women. And the interesting thing is, for those women, especially the ones who I know personally, who don't respond to some of the ways that guys approach women and some of the compliments they use to show, their interest in certain images, I guess, that they put in these women's heads when they say certain things. And I've always been of the cloth of those type of men who have never really been interested in the type of females who respond positively to those kinds of things. But I will say this. The woman was basically saying it's not cute, to approach a woman, whether in person or in DM or in a text or however, in certain ways. But what's interesting though is when there's a culture for so long, and I'm 35, so I've been around for a little while, and I can even remember back during my school days, whether it be middle school, high school, college, and even into my early adulthood, and even now, you set a certain tone in a certain culture for men, and they get conditioned in a certain way. When historically, when men approach women in a gentleman way, a respectful way, a lot of times those women don't want to be bothered with those types of men. You might look at them as being the nice guys or pushovers or whatever. And mind you, while I agree that we are reaching the age now for people in my age group where women my age and older are no longer and should no longer be interested in those types of things. It's more of a young girl. It's more of a young girl kind of mindset. However, it's a culture. Those men who are now in my age group for so long throughout their life, they have come across women who have not responded well to the nice guys, the guys who are gentlemen, the guys who are respectful, the guys who ask how you're doing or how was your day, or show interest in a gentle, kind way. When so many women have responded positively to men being more vulgar, being more upfront and straightforward, and being a little raunchy, while I agree that it's not the way that you should approach a woman, at the same time, you can't automatically flip a switch because you're past a certain age or because you have kids now or you're of a different mindset now. You can't all of a sudden flip a switch and now look down on those same men who maybe your peers, maybe you at a certain point in your life in the past, conditioned these men to approach you in different ways. I'm not saying it's a right or wrong thing. It's to each its own. Everybody has a right to respond to what they respond to. Everybody has a right to be attracted to, whatever they're attracted to, and whatever approach a person might employ when they show interest in them or attempt to, get someone's phone number or get someone to go out with them. But we got to stop coming down so hard on men without acknowledging that there's a culture, there's a conditioning, and there's a history of so many men being shot down for having a nice approach or a gentleman approach. And when you look around as the nice guy and see so many men who are more straightforward, who are more raunchy, and they seem to get positive results from being that way in their approach to certain women, you can't then look down at those same men and say, yeah, I gotta stop, or I'm too old for that shit, or I don't respond to that shit. That's for hoes, or that's for young girls. Maybe in your case, but again, these men have been conditioned to think that they have to come at these women in a lot of ways. And a lot of you women will admit that even if in the past you were into bad boy types, you were into men who was a little bit more rough around the edges, and men who are too sensitive, women don't respond well to. But then at the same time, you'll say you want a man who's sensitive. Is it that you want that man to be that way because they're with you and because it was your project and you made them that way? Or do you want a man who's already that way when you come across them? Because that's not what a lot of us men have seen historically. When a man is already together and already approaches you with that kind of respect, a lot of women are not able to take to that well and are not interested in or attracted to that. So I just want everybody to be more mindful of the fact that all men are not just being disrespectful, or all men are not just trying to be blatantly raunchy or nasty. Of course, there are some men who just weren't raised right, but the majority of men are just trying to figure it out. And all you have to go by is a template that has been set for you. And that is the vast majority of women I have known come in contact with throughout the years. I have not seen them respond well. I have even seen them berate, even if just talking to me about someone who tried to approach them. Oh, he seems too nice. Oh, he seems like too much of a pushover. Oh, he seems too sensitive. Y'all have to make up your minds as a whole. If y'all want men to approach you better, if y'all want men to come better and to be better, then you have to change the narrative and understand that for a lot longer than it hasn't been the case, men have received positive results for how they approach a lot of you women. And until there's been an equal enough time of women as a whole and in general responding well to men who want to assume those gentleman roles and be more sensitive and caring toward your feelings from the time they meet you or throughout the course of a relationship, that enough time has to pass with that being the case in order for you to see the whole change as far as men in general and how they think and how they approach women. Because all men can do is what is allowed for them to do. And if women didn't have a history of allowing men to approach them that way and receive those positive results or the results that they were looking for, men wouldn't do it. All men do is follow the culture that is in place for them. Because at the end of the day, it's for a heterosexual man, there are few things that drive that man. Legacy, obviously, being able to support and leave something for their kids if they have them, and to seek out women. That is coded into our DNA for heterosexual men. That is our driving force. Everything that a man does who is heterosexual, for the most part, is to impress, intrigue, entice, and to get women, even if it's just them looking for one, or if they just like variety in their life, doesn't matter. But the culture has to be changed, and it starts and ends with women. So rather than coming down on those men, change the culture and understand that for a lot longer than you women haven't been interested in that kind of approach, you have been. So understand that, give men a little bit of a break. I understand certain women just have never been about that, and that's cool, because some men they just aren't chameleons and don't have a multitude of approaches for different women and don't know how to read the waters. And when you have social media and when you have so many women who post different types of videos and pictures online, how can any man decipher whether you are of that cloth or not? So that's kind of a little bit of the confusion that comes into place with social media and the way it is now. But when I see these types of videos and I see these types of posts being directed at men who I don't know, obviously, never met them, don't know what a DM from them looked like, but I have personally seen more women respond to those things than not. So, it is what it is. Just be mindful of each other. Be mindful of the things that you accept, that you have accepted, that other men have witnessed being accepted, and what experiences they had. And all those things play a part in how someone is in their present form, age, mind state, maturity level, what have you. I don't pretend to know everything. I just know what I know. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you on the next one. Peace and love.